Okay, so you touched on before about some areas like Woonona and Bulli and areas of the lake that have been going up in value. What are the most affordable areas that you're seeing come through, I guess, coming from a data perspective?
Okay. Well, again, it depends on what you mean by affordable, but certainly in terms of below the average or below the median prices, you know, that lake area has certainly still got that sort of focus, and you know, prices have increased, and that's why it's increased, because the demand's been there.
Yeah.
So you know, those suburbs around the southern part of the lake are quite attractive. Unanderra, Cordo Heights have always been quite attractive suburbs in terms of affordability. And then the other one closer to Wollongong is probably the Fig Tree area. That's probably the other area that's been also doing well in terms of sales, but we're not seeing huge leaps in terms of prices.
Okay. All right. Can you tell me, what's your opinion in terms of, what do you think the market, in terms of Wollongong's local market, what does it need in terms of stimulus? So obviously you mentioned the building has been picked up. There's a few things that you touched on around unemployment and all those sorts of things. For me, I'd like to see first homeowners get a bit of a help like they did a couple of years ago. What's your take? What do you think Wollongong needs to sort of, I guess, keep this economy and keep the market moving in not so much a crazy time, but a, you know, a steady pace, so people are you know, increasing their wealth, I guess?
Yeah, I think it comes down to supply. I think in terms of our land availability, it's always been an issue in terms of residential land. So I think the important things are, you know, the Shelf Cove development, the West Dapto development, Calderwood, those types of development, just to increase the supply out there, and hopefully that will make things a little bit more affordable. Because at the end of the day, yes, everyone wants to increase their wealth, but we don't want to make it like a, you know, some area where no one can afford to buy anymore.
Gotcha.
So I think we need to make sure we increase that supply. We've certainly started to increase the supply for, you know, units and medium type density over the last few years, particularly in the Wollongong area. A lot of developments previously were being sold off the plan, and then after the GFC that all sort of crashed.
Yeah.
But now we're seeing that come back. You know, you're having developments sold off the plan.
Yeah.
Areas like here in Ferry Meadow, you know, quite strong now in terms of new apartments and off the plan sales.
Yeah.
So I think it comes down to supply. I know everyone wants to make a buck, but if we can sort of increase the supply, keep the cost of development down, so that's always another issue in terms of infrastructure and service costs, and that's what I suppose council and the state government's grappling with West Dapto in terms of how do they keep those costs down to make it more affordable for first home buyers to get in there. I'm not a huge fan of handouts in terms of first home buyers or whatever home buyer you are, in terms of does artificially start to distort the market.
Gotcha.
And you'll see some, you know, all of a sudden you get 15 grand handout first home buyers, and what happens to the median price goes up 15 grand.
Yes.
So it's a lose-lose situation.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm not a real fan of those type of initiatives. I think it's more about getting the infrastructure, getting the supply out there, and providing the type of housing that people want. You know, people's attitudes now are changing. We're seeing that in Sydney. You know, people are wanting a downsizing now, or people are liking the 2 and 3 bedroom apartments, don't want the backyard. So we've got to make sure that we keep up with times with what the market wants. So investors and developers need to keep going out there, researching what's going on, using good organisations like us to understand what consumers want.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice plug there.
Yeah, thanks.
So yeah, I get from you that it's about maybe state planning and the local council working together more, a bit smarter, perhaps increasing the densities, maybe central Wollongong. I know people are sort of, when it comes to the beach fringe, they don't really want high rise, but certainly Wollongong central market can boost in terms of height limits, and that again would allow more units to be built, and I guess the affordability of those units will be a lot greater because there's more of them. And then when you talk about Shell Harbour, West Dapto, I mean, that's expanding the boundaries and making use of available lands, because we're such a unique little town here where we've got this little strip of land, you know, between the mountains and the sea, and they don't get any bigger really. No. So I mean, naturally prices are going to always escalate simply because you just can't fit more into it. What's interesting though is, because I do this on a monthly basis, is obviously a market update to the community from a month-to-month perspective. But just talking with you and thinking about some of the things that I've said in previous months, the data that you've told me today is actually 100% correct in my eyes. From the coalface, it's exactly that. Particularly the last 6 months has really started to take a turn in a positive light. Sellers are now coming into the market and achieving really good price. The difference between the sale price that they've initially listed for and what they've achieved is a lot less. The days on market are a lot less. Buyers are more comfortable making decisions. They're taking a little less time to make decisions, which is really good. And I can see that we are in a steady growth phase. I certainly don't think we're going to see boom type stuff where it goes up 30% per annum or 40% like in 2001-2, so around that area. But certainly steady growth, and I think people shouldn't be afraid. I mean, it's easy for me to say from real estate.
That's right.
You know, real estate is always expensive today and cheap tomorrow. So I mean, at the end of the day, they shouldn't really be afraid to maybe dip their toe in the water, or at least take the next 12 months to maybe put in a plan to save a deposit or to gear themselves up to maybe make a move if that's what they're thinking. So it's really positive, I think, to hear it from yours, because I'm just regurgitating what I see within my office and in our market, but you've got the hard evidence. So I really appreciate you taking the time today. I mean, I wanted to give everyone the hardcore facts of what it was like, and Iris Research does such a great job of getting the local market. And if anyone's listening that wants to grab a report, because you do a quarterly report, and there's obviously it's a membership base, so if they wanted to, they can contact me if they like, and I can put them onto you, and you can get the report out to them.
That's right. If they're looking to sort of confirm pricing in different areas and things like that, we've got that pricing here. Sort of thing, if they want to have some sort of independence in terms of what's going on for a particular area they're interested in buying, we've got that property data here for them.
Fantastic. Simon, thanks so much for giving me your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Have a Merry Christmas and a good New
Year.
Year.
Yeah, and to you too.
Cheers, mate.
Good on you.